I didn't think anything of the knock at first. It was just one. Sharp. Not urgent. Not aggressive. A single tap, like someone pressing their knuckle gently to the wood and letting it fall forward. I live in a small third-floor apartment. Just me. I work nights, so by the time I get home, there's not much noise in the building. That night was quiet. Rain had just started. The hallway light outside my unit had burned out a week ago, and the maintenance guy still hadn't replaced it. Everything was still. Dead still. I was sitting on the couch, jacket still on, shoes off. My phone was face down, no music, no television, just quiet. Then, that knock. I looked at the door. Didn't move at first. Just stared. I checked the time. 9:41 p.m. No deliveries, no visitors expected. I stood up slow, walked to the door, and leaned toward the peephole. The hallway was pitch black. I flicked on the porch light switch just inside the frame. Nothing happened. When I opened the door, the hallway was empty. No sounds, no elevators, no closing stairwell doors, just the faint smell of rain and concrete. I stepped out for a second. No footprints, nothing left behind. It was like the knock had come from the inside. Back inside, I locked the door again. Saturday down. Still no notifications on my phone. But the screen was on. Lock screen lit. I picked it up. One word floated at the top. Semi-transparent. Waiting. Not a text. Not a system alert. Just there. Then it faded. I slept badly that night. Not out of fear. Just restlessness. Like someone kept adjusting the bed while I was half asleep. The next night, I made sure the porch light was on. Triple-checked the deadbolt. Placed a chair against the handle. Just for my own peace of mind. Nothing happened. Until 2:12 a.m. This time, I was already awake. Not sure why. Just laying there. Eyes open in the dark. One knock. But not at the door. At the wall? The wall opposite my bed. The one that shares no wall with another apartment. Just brick behind it. Cold air and pipes. And yet, the knock came from there. Same pattern. One. Clear. Close. Then my name. Not shouted. Not whispered into the room. Spoken from inside my own head. No voice. No breath. Just the sound of my name unraveling like it had been spoken 1,000 years ago and only now reached my ears. I didn't move. Couldn't. Then, the closet door creaked. Just a few inches. I sleep with it closed. Always. It sticks a little at the hinge. Takes effort to pull open. But now it sat ajar. A wedge of dark too deep to be natural. I sat up. Slowly. Not because I was ready, but because something about the room told me I had to. I got out of bed. Walked barefoot across the floor. Each step colder than the last. I stood in front of the closet. Waited. Then I pushed it open. Empty. Clothes hanging still. Nothing on the floor. But it smelled wrong. Not old. Not moldy. Like the air had been warmed by skin. The next morning, I found a note in the kitchen. Plain sheet of printer paper. Folded in half. I don't keep paper in the apartment. Inside, in handwriting that wasn't mine, was one line. I only knock once. No signature. No explanation. I tore it up, threw it away, took the trash out to the bin behind the building. When I came back inside, my phone was on the hallway floor. Screen up. Recording. Not video. Audio. 11 seconds of silence, followed by one soft sound. Another knock. Then, my name, said twice. Like it had found the correct pronunciation after practicing. I tried to reset the phone, wipe everything, but the file remained, grayed out, undeletable. Every time I restarted, it reappeared. I started keeping my lights on all night. Closet sealed shut with tape. Salt lines across the door. mirrors covered. That held for 2 nights. Then, yesterday, I found something behind the bathroom mirror. I had taken it off the wall completely, leaned it against the tub, face down. Behind it, taped flat to the wall, was another note. Same handwriting, same paper. This one just said, "You're almost ready." I don't know what for, but I haven't slept since. The closet door had been open again. I hadn't touched it. I stood in the hallway for a long time, just staring at it, the space behind the coats darker than it should have been. I'd checked it a dozen times. I'd emptied it, cleaned it, closed it. But now it hung open by a few inches. Not wide, just enough to make me wonder if it had moved or if it had always been that way, and I hadn't noticed. The apartment felt hollow again, like the walls weren't holding the shape of the space anymore. I walked backward to the kitchen, made noise, slammed the drawer, ran water. I thought if I acted casual enough, it would shrink back into whatever it was using to hide. That's how I started thinking of it now, as something that used the apartment. Not lived in it, not entered it, just borrowed it. The knock came again the next night. Same time, 9:40 p.m. Once. But now, it wasn't from the front door, or the bedroom wall, or even the closet. It came from the ceiling. A single thump, like someone had tapped the beams from above, with precision, as if they were counting joists. I live on the top floor. There's no unit above me, just the roof. No access, no attic crawl space, nothing. I stood underneath it, phone flashlight pointing straight up. Nothing moved, but the paint in that one spot had started to ripple. Not cracked, rippled like dried paint over old water damage. Except I had never seen it before, and it wasn't there during the day. That night, I left my phone screen on, camera open, propped toward the ceiling while I tried to sleep. At 3:12 a.m., I woke again. Not from the knock. From the whisper. My name. This time it was clearer. Not from the room. From inside the mattress. Directly beneath my shoulder blade. I shot upright. The whisper stopped. I threw the sheets off, checked under the bed, lifted the mattress, looked for a speaker, a phone, anything. There was nothing. But there were marks on the wall beside the bed now. Tiny ones. Scratches arranged in a series of short vertical lines. 5. Then 5 again. Then 2. I stared at them too long. Felt my jaw tighten without realizing I was clenching. I tried sleeping on the couch the next night. It didn't help. At 3:12, my name came again, but not whispered. Breathed. A breath shaped around the name, like a lungless mouth shaping something ancient through teeth. It came from the vent behind the television, the one I never use, never open, not even connected to anything. I unscrewed the cover the next morning. Shined a light inside. There was something there, folded in a square. Old paper. I reached in and pulled it out. It felt warm, not like heat, but like it had been held until moments ago. Unfolded, it showed a floor plan. Not of my apartment, but close. The layout was slightly off. The hallway curved. The bedroom was smaller, but every room had a mark, every room except one. The closet. Instead of a rectangle labeled closet, there was only a single handwritten word, scratched over repeatedly. Return. That's when I realized the whisper hadn't just been saying my name. It was practicing it, refining it, trying different inflections, stretching the vowels, shortening the edges, learning how to make it sound like something real. I left for a few days. Didn't tell anyone where I went. But when I came back, my place hadn't changed. It had gotten better at waiting. No knocks that night. No whispers. I almost believed it had stopped. Until I opened the fridge and saw my name carved into the inside of the door. Not scratched, carved, each letter clean and even centered perfectly between the condiment shelves. Behind it, the milk was warm. That night, the knock didn't come at 9:40. It came at 3:12. On the inside of the bedroom door, I didn't move. I waited with the light on. Then I heard the whisper again, but this time not saying my name. This time it said, "I have always known you." And then the sound of the doorknob turning. Not jiggling. Just one clean rotation. Click. But the door never opened. I walked to it slowly, looked through the peephole. No one on either side. The next morning, I found a photograph under the door. Faded, torn. An old image of a child in a hallway I didn't recognize. But the hallway had the same bend as my apartment. The curve that doesn't exist in the blueprint. The shape that only matches the wrong floor plan from the vent. The child had no face, but the shirt they wore had a name tag on it, written in marker, almost illegible, but still clear enough. It was my name.